Good morning. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And I just want to come to you this Sunday morning, you know, number one, to apologize for last night because we couldn't make it last night. A lot of stuff happening, guys. A lot of stuff going on. And these children have to be taught, what their purpose is to the planet. What we've been teaching our children the last 150 years has been to get to this place where we are right now, and it's not working. How's everybody doing today? Thanks for joining us today. Everything's cool, just trying to get through it. Um, but one of the things I wanted to share, so I just wanted to apologize for last night. We're going to do it later on today. It's going to be a nice little, to show you, there's a war going on. And many of us, going to sit down and watch the basketball game tonight. And there's a war going on. And one of the things is we just ignore it, which makes us ignorant and all that. But then we try to pretend like we was, how the Negro does. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and some things to do to prepare yourselves. And as a group, we can do a whole lot of stuff. But when we try to do stuff with people who are not our families, people we don't know and love and trust for the past 20, 30, 40 years, we just become little islands to ourselves. So we can't allow that to happen. So we're going to get on that today. Accomac Princess is going to be with us. We're gonna learn some cool stuff. So, but I wanted to talk about this morning, and it's not going to be long because I know many of you getting ready for church. So I'm not going to keep it long. The question is the Great Migration happening in reverse? So I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I love to get your thoughts because it helps, strengthen what I'm thinking and lets me know that there's other people thinking the same way. When you go to these big cities today, Los Angeles, Atlanta, I mean the big ones, the one who has the million plus populations. Atlanta, I haven't been to DC or New York lately, but I hear it's the same way. These major cities, they have a group of so-called African American, Black, Negro people that are completely destitute, from the oldest to the youngest. Everywhere they live smells like piss. The cities that they're in, they're being gentrified to the max. Everywhere is being gentrified. And are the people seeing it? I think they do. I think a lot of people do. I mean, they're paying what, 25, $3,000 for a closet. And see, this is how you know they're tearing us up mentally. And we can't allow that to happen. Well, I'm not going to allow that to happen because all this dumb shit that we think about, that shit got to end. I'm going to show you how it's done so you will look at it another way. Check this out. So everybody's being gentrified in all the cities, right? We see that. But check out how it happened and check out what happened to the mind as it happened. So you see this map right here. And this is the Great Migration out of the South back in the early part of the 1900s when they were just terrorizing. Guess they were Negroes then out of, their homelands, homesteads, whatever. And this is what I mean about calling ourselves certain things Where you come from down there in that southern region where everybody's coming out, those people had towns, they had namesakes, they had cities, they had named after themselves. We start fleeing and we start picking up all these other titles and religions from other places because you see, when we left, when we ran out, the major places we went to, California is one of them. Most of the Negroes you see in California have some links to the South, but they minds been so fucked in California, they don't even think about the South. When you say the town in the South that they people are from, they get a smirk or a frown on their face. This is the Negro today. So you see, they went to California, a little in the Northwest, Seattle, um, Colorado, Texas. I think there was a major population there in Texas because you know, that was just converting over from Mexico because it's kind of the same thing now. But a lot of Negroes were from there already. They just got pushed off that land. And if you go to Houston, you can see it. Going up to Chicago, you see straight up Mississippi, Chicago, that Midwest area, New York. Everybody's coming out of the South. Now remember, on the South, most of your grandmothers, great great grandmothers had a whole bunch of kids. It wasn't the kids. Well, of course, it was the kids that they were producing, but the people down there looked at it as hands. They were building up the land until they were invaded by all these wars. We talk about this all the time. When those wars took place, the growth began to slow down because now we're not living on the land and the soil no more. Now we're moving into things called yards. They cutting down the space where you live. I hope I'm making this simple and clear because a lot of us are pretend like we don't know what's being said. So you're living on all this expanse land, you get colonized. Well, I don't really think it's colonized. I think a lot of Negroes was in on it. They were going to get something out of it, like now. You know, that's what we do. We want to be with everybody else. We want to do what other people tell us. This is what African American, what 90% of the African Americans do today. If somebody tell you to do something, you don't even think about it yourself. You do what they say. Right? Right? Right. They move these people off the soil and the land and moved them in the yards, and then got jobs. They started working for somebody else. Right? Build up their industries. Then they start telling these Negroes you're not needed no more, started killing you, hanging you, lynching you. Now remember, this is something we got to keep in mind because a lot of times we want to blame other people for what happened to us. But when all that was going on, wasn't you going to fight in their wars? Weren't you warring against your brothers with them? See, that's stuff that we don't want to talk about. And those are things that keep us confused. We don't know. You got some brothers fought on the French side. You got some brothers fought on the Spanish side. You got some brothers fought on against each other. And you wonder why you lose. Is the Great Migration, is it happening in reverse? Listen, if you've been to Atlanta lately, down there by the MARTA station, I forget where. Oh my God. Oh my God. And this is because we wanted to integrate. See, we wanted this. We wanted to integrate into this. Come on. Don't say now. This is what we wanted. We wanted to integrate into this. And look at it now. How's it going? Other countries have bought their economies over here and is outpacing ours. We support other nations that are coming over here. We support them when they don't support you. They don't give a shit about you. Yet you support everybody, don't you? Yeah. This is why you're on the streets like you are now. You don't care about each other. You don't care. All you care is about yourself and trying to get that bag. All the immigrants coming over here, they're not coming over here to help you. Are you Africans? They don't give a damn. They trying to eat because they fleeing their homes themselves. Everybody that's over here fleeing their homes and bringing what they were taught at home with them to strangle your children with. And you seem not to give a damn about it, don't you? Ain't that what you do? You probably have one generation. I probably don't see that. I mean, the African American is getting pummeled. And then, of course, you got the ones who think they're separated. You're not. You're going to be the first to go, as a matter of fact, because you don't have no base. You have no base. You have no foundational Black Americans. You're out there in the wilderness on your own with very few friends, very few family members. They have no base either. They're blowing in the wind too. You're being surrounded by all these immigrants and act like you don't see nothing. Is the great migration happening in reverse? You damn right. Why? Because the people in the cities and the smart ones, there's a lot of dummies that live in the city. Let's just face it. They're not connected to anything. They walk on concrete every day. Their feet doesn't touch the ground no more, the soil. Here you are, you on a planet. Now check this out. And this is what I mean when you start to move away from your base, your mind starts shrinking. You don't live on the land no more. You live in the yard. Your mind is shrinking because you don't have all that expanse anymore. You can't walk nowhere. You don't go get water. You don't roam. You don't roam. You're locked in a cage like a mouse, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Have nothing to do with nature no more. I know kids that cannot even tell you what a tree is because they have none where they live. We don't walk on the ground no more. Most of us walk on concrete with rubber sole shoes, so you can't pick up the energy from the ground, the magnetism from the ground. You got baseball caps and wigs on all day, so you're not getting electromagnetic from the sun. And you walk around here thinking you bad and all this. You wear sunglasses. For real, nigga? For real? How are you? Yeah, animals, because that's what you basically are. Their feet are to the ground. They live in nature. You think because you can integrate into somebody else's way of doing thing that's going to work for you. How's it been going? Hmm? Is the great migration happening in reverse? Yeah, and you can see it now. And so, what I'm gonna tell you, what I'm gonna share my thoughts about that is, I hope people coming back from these cities don't bring back the ideologies and the behaviors and what they've learned in these cities, because most Negroes in these cities haven't learned nothing. There's nothing there for them to learn. Everything is controlled. They learn from other people. Other people teach them what they want. To a person who went to school and understood what you were taught there, I'm not talking about the people who didn't understand, who went for it. You guys are the reason why there's homeschooling, because some people said, "No, I'm not sending my kids to learn that shit. They'll be dumber than me." The people who saw that are the reason you have the homeschooling now. Pay attention to little subtle things like that, because you're seeing a lot of people who grandparents, great grandparents, great great grandparents migrated out of the South. They're coming back to the South now. You have a whole bunch of space. You have a whole bunch to work with, because the things that your parents were dispersed from back in the day so other people could get that land. See, it didn't work for them. It didn't work for them, but it'll work for you. With all the things we know now and things that we can do, it'll work for you. So that's why when we say, get with your families, find out where you come from, find out the names of the towns and cities that's close to your name, because your people named the cities and towns after themselves, who they were. Stop taking the history, what people give you, and thinking that is yours. It's not. Copper coin, is that Jackie? See, you got him a pimp layer now, so he can run all these hens. That's right. Give a player some room to roam. So, how you doing? So anyway, back to the South, y'all. You got stuff to do. These cities are falling, and you know what's gonna happen when we leave them. About the people that are on the streets doing all this crazy stuff. This is what happened when we do each other like we do each other, and then try to say other people doing it. See, this is why people, other people that come over here, they look at you as mud anyway, because this is what you do. This is why they show you on all these dumbass TV shows. For real, cuz really. So these are things that we do to ourselves. We can keep blaming and lying. So we keep doing that to the children and the generations that come, they not gonna have a chance. So there's all kind of things that the so-called African American Negro could do. Get with your families, find out where you from. All the energy you need is where you come from. Cool. So I'm gonna go see if I can strangle a couple of eggs out of these hens, and get some breakfast. So thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna be on later on today. And what's going on? We're not understanding this war that's happening to us. So we just want to, and it's going on right now, and we acting like, and we're participating in it because we're not concentrating and focusing on who we are. Cool. So join us tonight, probably a couple of hours. We'll put up We'll advertise it an hour or two before. But y'all, great migration back to the South is happening. You got people down here doing some cool stuff in all the southern states because they've been doing them since we done moved away to all these cities. They didn't stop. They didn't run. They kept on doing it. So those of you who got your minds open and right and want to change, want to do something different than what you were doing, what you learned in these cities, it's time to get back with the earth. Communicate back to the earth and watch what happens then. So hey, we'll see you in a few hours. Peace out.